Hey, Kelsey, Norm MacDonald here. So, you have a podcast, huh? Fantastic. You know what I always say? You know what the world needs more of? Podcasts.
Live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, the Kelsey Hudgins Show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, indeed, SKREW, ballwhiskey.com. Tomorrow's stories begin right here, hashtag Get Screwed, at Get Screwed on Twitter, hashtag Screw It Forward, at Screwball Whiskey on Instagram. Go and follow them all over the place. Get yourself a couple bottles. If you only get one, you'll wish you had two, and that is, of course, the original peanut butter whiskey, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Go get yourself some. It's delicious. Hope you all are doing well. It has been, let's just, to say the least, a pretty interesting week. Pretty interesting week so far. Getting a little couple things here. Getting a couple things here to where I can see some data when we're doing this. Struggling to do that right now. Is it still working? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Hold on a minute. Yeah, looks like it is. All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this thing. We're off to a good start, huh? So, yeah. Hey, guys. How's it a-going? Sweet. Really glad to hear that. Stoked to hear that. Yeah, really cool. Really good to hear. Man, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, man. So, I will just start by saying that I might end up getting a little emotional at some point during this. That is to be expected. So, yeah. Anyway. I ended up taking this past week off work, playing the gigs, because my uncle got pretty bad off there in the last couple weeks. So I'm going to start from the beginning. A few weeks ago, I literally think it was 8 weeks ago, my uncle found out that he had stage 4 liver cancer, and it had spread into his colon, and there was nothing that they could do, that any sort of treatments, the treatments weren't going to work, basically. So I knew that it was going to come a time soon that, I'd be spending a lot of time in my hometown. And this week just so happened to be that week. We played a gig Monday at Dead Dog Saloon here, and I called my dad during that gig on a break, and he said, yeah, he's not doing so good. We're expecting it to happen, at some point throughout the night, and it did. He ended up passing away literally a couple hours after I talked to my dad, and there were some shows that we had that I had that week, and we ended up doing services on Thursday and Friday, and I had a Wednesday gig that I was going to try to do. But man, Wednesday I got up and I found out that I was not doing good. Like I ended up getting pretty sick. I threw up a couple times throughout the night, and I don't know what actually I do know what it was. It was because I think it was because I have been eating only food that I've cooked over the last couple months, and I ate something that I didn't cook that day before, so I think that was the problem with the sickness that I had. But anyway, running a low grade fever and was a little worried about that. And so I was like, man, I think this is my body telling me I shouldn't do this, because I was already getting emotional, and it was just I don't experience that a lot, like not real emotion like that. Like I'll get things from like a movie I watch or something I see on Instagram that'll move me, but like real family, actual emotion, I don't get that a lot. So I was like, man, I can't. I'm going to just take this whole week off. And there was a gig that we were going to do last night as well, but I told the guy, man, I can't do, like, we've got services Thursday and Friday, and then we did a family dinner last night. So I spent basically the second half of the week with my folks. I don't do that a lot. It was great to see them. It sucked to be that under the circumstances it was. But yeah, still pretty good to see them. And man, I went up there, and I'm weird. You guys know this about me. I have anxiety to where I can't stay anywhere other than my house and sleep in my own bed, which is my thing. I have to sleep in my own bed. And I got this giant fucking something on my lip down here. I don't know where that came from. It's weird. It hurts. But ended up I lost my train of thought when I started thinking about this thing on my lip. It fucking hurts. Sorry. I'm scatterbrained, man. You'll find out by the end of the episode why. Man, what's up, Slay? I see you, Valish. I appreciate y'all. My uncle was an absolute physical giant. Like, he was the dude that could throw his arm out and like you could use it as monkey bars, dude. Like, he was just a powerful person, and it really sucks to see a powerful person like that slowly slip into the afterlife. That sucks. That's hard to watch. And my dad, who is his best friend, like not just his brother, but his absolute best friend, had to basically care for him there towards the end, and it is nice to spend time with the folks. My dad had to care for him there at the end, and my dad's the only person that he really trusted, and like see, he had epilepsy, and not a lot of people knew that about him. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people actually did know that about him, but I didn't talk about that a lot. But he had epilepsy, and my dad cared for him. And it's not Yelby. It shouldn't be VR chat. I selected whatever on Twitch. I don't even care. It's a podcast, so do with that what you will. Anyway, fuck. Now I got that on my mind, so I got to change the fucking. All right, I'll just go ahead and tell you what's bothering me now, dude. Like, I got a fucking, I got a flat tire on my car right now, and I had a week off work, and yeah, why is it this? I got a flat tire on my car. I made it back and forth. I made it back and forth from my hometown, spending time with family. I made it 4 trips this past week, back and forth, and all went well. I got there and back, but then I looked last night. I went to go grab some food, and I had a flat tire. Like, I got to the edge of I didn't notice that it was dark out. I went to drive off. I just felt the flap. You know what it feels like when you got a flat tire, or if you don't, it just feels like you're driving with rocks in your tire. And yeah, got a flat tire, and I've spent all of my money that I had over this last week, dude. It's not even something that you can plug, dude, and because it's just the tire, it won't hold air at all. I've got a plug kit and everything, but like the sidewalls, the thread is showing around the sidewall. So I mean, I'm just gonna have to get a used tire, and I need to get new tires. But I gotta go out of town this weekend. I'm going up to Boone, North Carolina this weekend, and I just got to get all this handled before I go to Boone, and like, I just don't know, man. I get so stressed out over dollars because I'm always working, and I'm always working, so I don't ever think about like any money that I'm spending or whatever. And then it gets to where it's like, oh shit, you got something that you need to do, and then you've lost a week's worth of work. And it's just stressing me out. It's got my brain in a weird spot, and it's just a weird week to have had it happen. And I will say this, and back to my uncle's, my uncle. Everybody in the family were the way I picked up on the vibe was relieved. Seemed like everybody was pretty relieved that he wasn't suffering anymore, and that's how I felt about it, and that's how I feel about it. But like I said, man, my dad lost his best friend. He talked to him every day, I told my dad, you can talk to me or whatever. I know I'm not, the brother that you've had for 60 years. But, if you need to get something off your chest or whatever, like, call me. But that's different. my uncle was there every day. Like every day. Always there, just always around, always there to help. And I'm sure that it sucks for them, or for him, my dad specifically, to just have to go through life without him now. So, yeah, I know that's gotta suck. But anyway, I thought about doing this, and I'm gonna do this episode of this just talking to get shit off of my chest. And by the way, if none of you have ever seen this before, my podcast has historically been something that I've used to just get shit off of my chest. Like, this is my therapy. This is how I process things that are going on in my head. So forgive me for that, and also forgive me if this one turns out to be a bummer, just because I'm not doing well mentally right now. I'm sorry. So just a heads up. Anyway, I feel renewed a bit by having spent so much time with my family and getting to be with them throughout all of this time, even though it was for awful reason. I'm very, I've said several times, I'm very, I'm very much a loner. I like to be by myself more often than not. And just being up there around family and stuff like that, and just like close family friends, and going to places that you went when you were a kid, like I'm sitting in the church that I got saved in, and like just stuff like that is really, I think that's good for the soul, and I needed that. But I think, I don't know, man. I think that I had such a good time with everybody and enjoyed that so much that for to level shit out, the universe is like, okay, well, here's this. You got a flat tire now. Oh, and guess what? You don't have any money to do anything about it with. So, yeah, here we are. I think I'm going to, after I do this talk, I might stream again with a guitar and just take requests for Venmo tips or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just so used to just living life and not thinking about things like that, because I know that, oh, tomorrow I'll just make more money, and that's how it always is. But I'm just worried about that, like the state of my vehicle getting up to North Carolina this weekend, and I'm doing something different than the other guys. They're all staying together in a house, and there's like families and kids and all that are going to be there and stuff. And I'm like I said, I'm a loner by trade almost. And so I was getting my own place because there was somebody else who wanted to go on the trip, another family. So there were 4 rooms in the house, and 3 of the rooms plus me were spoken for. So the other guy was like, dude, if you didn't want to stay at the house with all the families and the kids, that, you could get a hotel room somewhere else. We could, like, he would even get you a hotel room. And I was like, dude, I really would prefer to stay by myself, so I'll just do that. So now I've got the Airbnb taken care of in North Carolina, in the hotel in Columbia. the next night. So I'm just going to be staying and I'm going to be there, but gone for 2 nights instead of being gone for 3 nights. So technically I'm going to, like, just be there for like, I don't know, like I'm only going to be gone for 2 nights, basically. 3 days, 2 nights. And I don't know, man. I'm just trying to figure out a way to make this thing work without inconveniencing other people so much. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like such a fucking bum, dude. Like when you get to that point, and then I'm like, well, I made the decision to drive back every night. Maybe that was causing extra wear on my tire. But I feel like it was going to happen anyway, man. You know, like nothing could happen. Honestly, I feel like it probably happened a couple days ago and my uncle literally held it off for the week so that I could get back and forth and do everything. And then it was like when I'd done everything that I needed to do, you know, I went home last Sunday and actually spent some time with him, got to see him, be in the room with him and play some guitar in front of him and all of that stuff. I got to do that. And then he passed the next night, the very next night he passed. And I went back up there on Thursday, Friday, and yesterday. So I went Sunday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so that's 4 trips. It's about an hour and 40 minutes a trip. So literally that's like a 16 hours. Well, like, I don't know, not quite 16 hours, but a good bit of driving. And I know that my car I'm planning on driving my car to Austin whenever I go out there. But now I'm thinking that it may be wiser to like rent something to pull my car with, so I'm not putting that much wear and tear on it going all the way across the country. Or should I sell my car and get something different? My car's not going to bring a lot of money. It's not gonna bring a lot of money. So, and it's sentimental a little bit because like my dad and my grandmother, R.I.P. to my grandmother. It was one of my last gifts from her. So yeah, and a new car does sound like it would be beneficial for me to have. But like I said, this one's sentimental to me a little bit, and even though it's like slowly falling apart. I have the worst luck with vehicles, man. Every car I've ever had, I've driven it until it is literally like falling apart, pretty much. But they all do. They all fall apart eventually, which I don't understand. And maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bad luck with that. Maybe the universe will bless you with things in one aspect or in one part of your life. And take it away from others. So, like, if I'm really good at music, you're going to be really bad at managing a vehicle's mechanics. And I am, man. And it's like I'm looking at the schedule next week, man. We got an outdoor gig on Tuesday that's almost certainly going to get rained out, I think. So. It's just the worst cause of anxiety for me is financial shit, and like I hate it the worst. It's the muddiest of the feelings. It's the muddiest of the anxieties, and like because there's certain things, and the anxiety isn't just one thing. You know, there's different types of it. And the financial type is it's god awful. So that being said, I'm pretty sure that I'm just gonna have to figure out a way over the next couple of days to make some dollars through here and do some, like I said, I'll play some like requests for tips or whatever. I haven't played in a while, and it wouldn't sound awful. It doesn't, and man, I don't like the way that it sounds when I play music here on this mic, and I like the way it sounds coming through my system that I have, and I'm used to it sounding like that. But I'm not setting all of that up. I think it would still work. So, another thing, I don't know how many of you guys have watched this show over the last few years. I don't know if there's a lot left from the old guard that used to watch every episode, but I have a really rocky relationship with my mom. We haven't spoken or seen each other in almost 10 years, and I cut her out of my life for good reason. I cut her out of my life almost a decade ago, because she's the most toxic person I've ever known and the most manipulative person I've ever known. And she always finds a way to manipulate her way into someone else's mind. And that happened this week. So, she came to the setting up, which in the South we call it a setting up. It's a wake everywhere else. It's the ceremony at the funeral home where the body is, where everybody signs their name, and it's the pre-funeral deal. So I'm sitting there with my cousin, two of my cousins, as we're in the corner talking, and my sister walks up, my youngest baby sister walks up, Shelby, and says, say the word, and I'll say the word, and I'll do it. And I was like, what? And then I turn and I look, and my mom walks in the room. And I haven't seen her in I don't know how long, but as soon as I'm already filled with emotion at this point, man. I've just, for the first time, seen my uncle since he has not been alive anymore. I've just seen him. And now I'm seeing somebody who I never want to see again in my life. I never want to see her face or hear her voice ever again. And I'm seeing her now. And she makes a beeline over for my stepmom and then my dad, and she's just standing there looking at me. And I don't want to see her, and I don't want her to see me. Immediately, I just wanted to be invisible. I didn't want to be there anymore. And I just ignore her. I don't look at her, and she eventually walks away. My brother-in-law told me that after she walked away, she stood at the edge of the door right around the corner from where I was, just poking her head around, just trying to listen to what I was saying or what she was just trying. She kept poking her head around. And by the way, I'll explain this to you guys. My mom left me and my dad when I was 2 years old. She had an affair on my dad and took all of his business's money. She swindled all of my dad's business's money and gave it to the man who eventually became my stepdad to buy used cars with. When I was 2 years old, she chose all of that over me and our family. She chose all of that over me and our family. And that is just the beginning of that story. After that, she was not part of my life. She used to leave me sitting on my grandparents' front porch with my suitcase packed, crying, waiting on her to show up, to come pick me up, to spend the weekend with her, and she would never show up. And then at 9 or 10 o'clock that night, she would always call my grandparents to apologize to them for not picking me up. but they would always hand the phone to me so that she could explain to me why she wasn't picking me up. And I would just cry and wonder when she was going to show up. And that happened just as I was a kid. But then when I turned 8 years old, I got into a really bad accident and I almost died. I literally did die 3 times in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. 3 times they had to shock me back to life. And then after I received a large insurance settlement, she was then part of my life again after I received a large insurance settlement from the accident that I had gotten in. She was then part of my life again until I turned 18 years of age at the time when I was going to get the money. I didn't know anything at this time about what she had done to my dad and stole his money to give to the guy that became my stepdad to buy used cars. But she had put the thought in my mind that if I were to give that money to my stepdad, that he would be able to buy used cars and make me a lot of money back by doing that. So I gave $50,000 to them. I wrote a check to my stepdad for $50,000 to give to him, to give him buying power to buy fucking used cars. And man, once that happened, she didn't need me anymore. They have motorcycles. She got a fucking boob job. Everything, like I gave them more money than I kept for myself out of this settlement that I got. I gave them more than I kept for myself. And because it was supposed to be my investment. And dude, not only that, but my dad actually grew all of that money himself. He is the one who invested it over the years to grow it from whatever 70-something thousand to 100,000 or whatever it was. It became. He's the one that did all of that. So if anybody deserved that money, it was him. But she conned me out of it because she's a con woman. She's a con artist. She conned me out of this money the same way that she conned my dad out of this money. And not only that, after that, my brother ended up getting married and having a child, and I have a nephew who adored her. And I thought, she's finally doing right with my nephew, what she got wrong with me. But nope, she left him too. She ended up leaving him. She always chooses herself over everyone else. She will always do that. And that is why I say all of these things. I didn't have to tell you that story, but it'll make more sense to tell you. That's why I don't speak to her. That's why I don't want anything to do with her. It hurts me so much to know that I came from that. I try so fucking hard to be good because I know what evil I have in me because I am half her. That's why I'm just so aggressive about trying to be good all the time and trying to do good things and help people and put good into the world, because I know what I come from. I know the potential that I have for evil, and I try so fucking hard to curb that. So all of those emotions on top of, I'm literally just seeing my uncle, who was a good guy, who did not deserve the shit that he got in his life. He had epilepsy. He had 2 wives that both left him, and neither one of them came to the funeral, by the way. 2 wives who left him because they couldn't deal with the seizures that he would have. He couldn't help that. And I had just seen the strongest man I've known in my life for the first time since he's no longer alive. And I'm dealing with those emotions. And then now I have to deal with this woman who doesn't deserve anything good in her life. Then do we wonder why others prosper, living so wicked year after year? She doesn't deserve anything good in her life, yet she still breathes air, and she doesn't deserve it. So, as I'm sitting here talking with both of my cousins about our uncle, and just telling stories about how strong he was and all of the things that he could do, and just all of the things that he did and all the things that made him great. I have to deal with this when she comes in, and after she's asked 5 people in my family if she could come over and talk to me, and all of them has said, obviously, if he wants to talk to you, he will. But I didn't want to talk to her. I didn't want to see her. But she still came in, made a beeline for me after she stood at the edge of the door and came over. And I just sat there emotionless. I cut it all off. I have a switch that I can flip, and when I flip it, it's done. I cut off all feelings so I didn't have to deal with all of the emotions I was feeling at that time. Because everything in me said, grab something sharp and put it through her neck while she's close. And so I didn't. I just grabbed my phone out of my pocket and just started scrolling until she got up and walked away. My dad brought this up last night at dinner. He said, she knows your schedule. All of your shows are on the internet. You post everywhere you're going to be every day. And I do. Anybody who follows me on Instagram knows that I'm always posting where I am. She could find me anytime she wanted to. But this time, when it's supposed to be me and my family, my actual family, not her or her people. Not all of her people are bad. But just, she knew that I would definitely be there. And she wanted to use this as an opportunity to play a victim, to come in and try to manipulate all of these people. And she did it. She came in. Everybody saw her. She made sure to go around and say to 5 or 6 different people, do you think I could go and talk to him? My cousin Sam came up to me and said, how do you think it'd be all right if your mama came and talked to you for a minute? And I said, I'd really rather not, I think it'd be best if that doesn't happen. And then just a few minutes later, she was standing there in front of me, leaned over with her hands on my knee. And I'm not even looking at her. I didn't address her. I acted like she was not in the room because I wish she wasn't. And then after a minute, she stood up and walked away and made sure to walk out the way with all of the people there crying, storming out of the door, storming out of the funeral home, creating a scene. Because that's what she wanted. She wanted people to see. She wanted people to see her. She wanted to be seen, and she wanted people to approach her to ask her questions about why she's acting this way, because that's what she does. But anyway, that shit fucked me up, man. Dealing with all of that. I'm a very emotional person. And I don't think that's a secret to anybody who's watching this. I wasn't prepared for all of that. Because me and my family literally lost a juggernaut, man. Like, I mean, the best of the best. And I know I said this 3 or 4 times, but I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I just seen him for the first time since he had passed. And I wasn't emotionally prepared to deal with her on top of all of this. But she knew that. That's why she chose that moment to show up. Because she was hoping that somehow that she would be awarded the thing that she doesn't deserve, and that's forgiveness. And I'm a Christian, man. I know the deal. I know the game. I know you're supposed to forgive everybody. And I know that technically the Bible says that if you do not forgive here, then you won't be forgiven on the other side. You won't be forgiven in the afterlife. And you know what, man? I'm sorry, but she does not deserve my forgiveness, nor will she receive it. And I don't think that's wrong, man. Not a lot of people know this about me, but I pray a lot. And I prayed the whole way home the other day. Like, if I'm wrong about this, like, I'm more than happy with being wrong. If I am wrong, I'm the first to say, I fucked up. That's on me. I was wrong. And because of that, I have a pretty good compass of when I've done something that's wrong. And I don't feel in my heart of hearts that what I'm doing is wrong. I believe that she deserves to never get to see her only child, because she didn't want anything to do with me until she could benefit from it. She probably doesn't want anything to do with me. All she cares about me now is because she thinks that because I'm doing things with famous comedians in Austin and shit, that maybe I'm better off than I actually am. But she doesn't know that I'm literally I got a tire on my car that I can't even afford to do anything about now because I took a whole week off work. I just, like, the only reason that she wants anything to do with me now is, I'm guaranteed this is because she needs money and she is trying to figure out a way to get it. Like, I just know that that's her game. That's what she does. And I hate her for that. I hate her for how she took advantage of me. She took advantage of my dad. She took advantage of me the same way that she took advantage of my dad at his most vulnerable point. She took all of the dollars that his company had and gave it to my stepdad, the man who became my stepdad. And I say that, don't think anything negative about my stepdad, dude. He was just a dude, and I knew him as a good dude. Like, I just know how manipulative she is, and I understood. I guess I just understood, because she's just so manipulative that she could make anybody do anything that she wanted to. But I in some supernatural feeling way, feel like I removed that power from her. Because once I started calling her out for all of the shit that she had done to me throughout my life, all of my stepdad's family and my stepdad and my stepbrother and my sister-in-law, they all started to realize, oh, this is just how she is. She's constantly going to do this, and she's going to figure out a way to make herself the victim every time. And that's not fair. I don't mean to go in on all of this about my mom, but the only reason that I bring that up is just this is how I feel about her. These emotions are what I have regarding her. And I wasn't ready to feel all of this on top of all that I'm already feeling with the loss of my uncle. So that was for the setting up. My baby sister, my youngest baby sister, who is a G, by the way, and did the absolute right thing. She went up, my mom went up to her and played the same card. I don't know why he won't talk to me. And my sister said to her, look, I'm sure that it means a lot that you come to pay your respects to Roger. But he don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. And I don't think anybody else here wants to talk to you. So you should probably just leave. And that's when she started crying and stormed out of the place in causing a scene. Just how unfair is that, man? You know how bad it sucks to know that I come from that? I come from somebody who does stuff like that. This fact alone should be the only evidence that anybody would ever need to know that my dad's family are the greatest people on earth. Because only greatness like that could curb evil like I come from. What kind of abomination is the child of good and evil? Because that's what I feel like. All the time. Just even when I'm just sitting there making stupid faces and doing voices and noises like my Uncle Roger did. All the time. Trying to make people happy and make people laugh and write stupid jokes about Delta and Spirit variants of COVID. Because all the time I feel like something that doesn't belong anywhere because of how I was forged, how I was created, and the people I was created by. Not the people but my dad. Everybody in my dad's family, like and I know I just come from a place where people literally just praised my uncle and my family and the way that he was raised. And that was the whole point of everything. So I might be a little hyped up on how awesome my family is, but my other uncle, my mom's brother, he also has a sickness. He has Tourette's, but he has another sickness. He has a sickness where he can't be good. He spent maybe 3 or 4 Christmases out of prison in my life, my entire life. For the whole beginning of my life, I didn't know who he was. All I knew was what I had heard and that he was in prison and that he just would always steal. He would steal things. And he steals things for my granddad. He would get out of prison and run up and go and break into people's mailboxes, get credit cards in their names, and run up the credit cards and buy a bunch of stuff for my grandparents and pile them up with a bunch of money and just go back to prison. That's what he did, man. That's the kind of people that I come from, dude. That's, again, why I try so aggressively to be good and to do good things, and why I'm so adamant about other people also making it their point to always try to be good people, because there truly is a world full of shitty people, and I know that because I come from half of them. Half of me comes from shitty people, and I mean really shitty people. I know that's out there in the world. I know that's a thing. that's why I so encourage everybody to just be good people all the time. And I try so hard to be that myself. What's up, Kraken? Long story, bro. He said, how you been, brother? You have to rewind and listen to the last half hour of whatever I've been saying to get that whole story. But I have been saying this lately. My dad told this story the other day about where he was walking through the grocery store, and this old woman that he didn't know walked up to him and said, "Are you Roger's brother?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. Roger was a good man. He came to my house. He came to my house one day when I was raking leaves in my yard, parked his truck, pulled a rake off the back of his truck, and finished raking my yard for me, and just left. And nobody, like, he didn't say anything about doing that to anybody. He didn't tell anybody he did it. And had she not seen him at the grocery store and told him that story, he would have never known it. He would have never known that happened. My dad would never have known. But that's how my Uncle Roger was. He would do things for people absolutely expecting nothing in return. Like, he didn't want anything in return. He just wanted you to be happy, and he wanted to be able to help you. And that's what he did. So ever since then, I've been trying to encourage people, and I'm going to start doing this in every stream. It's going to be part of every stream that I do for the rest of my life. I'm always going to encourage people to, at some point during this week, to do something nice for somebody. Do something to help somebody without asking for anything in return, without expecting anything in return, and not accepting anything in return, and to not put anything on social media about it, or to not tell anybody in the world that you did it. Just do something good to help somebody without anybody else knowing, so that that's something just between you and that person, so that you can experience a little bit of what it was like, of what my uncle was like, because that's what he did. So I do encourage all of you at some point during this week, do something nice for somebody, do something good, or just do something to help somebody, and don't expect anything in return. Don't ask for anything or accept anything in return for it. Do it for the sole reason just to help somebody. Don't put anything on the internet about it. Don't tag me in something that you did. I don't want that. I want you to do something to help somebody without doing it. Don't donate to something and have your name at the top of the list so you can show somebody that you did it. Don't do that. Just be a good person for the sake of being a good person, not for the sake of having people look at you and say there's a good person, because they don't have to say that. They don't have to say that. Like, that's not what it's about. It's about cleaning up your own insides, right? It's about making sure that you are worthy of this air that we get, you know? Because there's so many people out there that don't deserve it, that still get it. And then so many other people who do deserve it. I have lost two of my dad lost his little brother and one of his little sisters. And both of them were the epitome of great people. Like, you wouldn't even believe it. Like, you just tell these stories about them, and people are like, well, that just sounds like a fabrication. That just sounds not true. But it's not. It was. That's just how good these people were. And they both have lost their lives. My uncle was only 59. My Aunt Marie, she was 35. Pretty sure she was 35. He's 59 years old, man. Cancer is a bitch, and it doesn't care. Cancer got both of them. It just does not care, dude. But both of them lost their lives. And then people like my mom, who literally has just done, like, just trampled over people left and right throughout her entire life, and then she just carries on. It's just not fair, and I know it's not. But I think, you know what, man? I think that if we did this thing that I'm challenging everybody to do, then we would slowly make the world a little bit better of a place. Just do something. I didn't want to make this thing too long, and I try not to get too emotional, man, but there's some heavy shit that I'm unpacking, and I just want to encourage everybody to go out into the world, do something good for somebody, and don't accept anything in return for it. Don't tell anybody that you did it. Especially don't take a picture of you doing it or a video of you doing it and post it on social media, because that anytime you do a good deed and you post it on the internet, it's not a good deed anymore, you know? Or at least that's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I just don't think that if you do a good deed and then post it all over the place, it's just more about you now than the deed. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this stream, and I'm going to start another stream, and I'm going to grab my guitar, and I'll do like an hour of requests and such for some tips, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I really appreciate you all watching this. Sorry I'm sitting up here crying about this, but I appreciate y'all giving me just a place to air all of this stuff out, because I needed to get it out. So I really appreciate y'all. And do something good for somebody this week. I'm going to call that pulling a Roger. Go pull a Roger this week. I think he would like that because it sounds kind of dirty, and that will probably make him giggle because he'd appreciate that. So go out and pull a Roger this week. Go do something nice for somebody, and don't expect anything in return. Mana, Kraken, Dave, old Davy Gravy, Scooter, Yelby, Valish, Slay. I appreciate all of y'all. Thanks for watching, and drink Screwball Whiskey. Go get yourself a bottle of SKREW Ball Whiskey and go to screwballedwhiskey.com. Follow me on social media and at Yonder Wizard everywhere, ZZERD. If you want to donate to the help me get out of my fucking financial funk, there's a Venmo link in the description, and I'm about to go play some songs to pay you back for anything that you might feel compelled to donate. Fuck, I'm doing that now. I'll say this. This will carry over into the other thing. Anybody who's seen me play music, you've seen Frankie, my tip jar on the end of the mic stand. People always have trouble finding it because I feel so weird having a flashy tip jar out front. Like, hey, throw money in here. It just feels like a beggar, and I hate feeling that way. But that's what I feel like right now. So anyway, I'm gonna go play some songs. I'll be right back in just a second. Click on the next stream that comes up because it'll be up in just a minute. Anyway, I'm gonna take like 3 or 4 minute intermission here and go piss, and I'll be right back. All right. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Peace, bitches.